just before we get going into that, I'm Kristen, and tonight I have the privilege of introducing Tiffany Vin, who started her online business in network marketing in 2013, and she has been able to pay her way through college, but not only that, create a career income before she's even stepped out into the world after college. So Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Excellent. So Tiff, if you would you share just a little bit about how you got started and what drove you into starting your online business?
Yeah, my mom introduced me into the world of direct selling and network marketing. And she used to see me text all the time and use my phone and scroll. And she says, when you do that, do you make money? And I said, not really. I'm just talking to my friends. She goes, you better figure out a way to make money by doing that. And this is way before it became popular to be in network marketing, which is now very popular, but also to have an online business. And so I figured out a way throughout the last decade to use my phone and make money. And so when I first got introduced into this world, I was very, very, very hesitant. And not just hesitant, I was actually actively campaigning against this sort of business because I wanted to go to school, I wanted to go to college, and then I wanted to start my career from there because that's what everyone said that you were supposed to do. And so I was frustrated with my mother because she decided to take away my education fund. She didn't really take it away. She lost it, trying to liquidate all of her assets so that she could save the business that we had at the time, which was a retail store that went down during the recession. So it was the recession plus the employee embezzlement. And what that caused us to do was lose all of our savings, all of our investments. And she had saved my college education fund since I was 0 years old up until I was 18. And she had to make the decision that was heart-wrenching for her to liquidate that in order to save a retail business that was going out of business. And that was 10 years ago. And honestly, from that experience of losing the house, losing the cars, losing everything, losing your face in the community, which is something that was more my mom than it was me. But all of that stress and tension, it really caused me to rethink over time about retail physical businesses. So anyway, I had been conditioned to go to school, get a career that way. But when I started to see a lot of my friends graduate into debt and then take jobs that they didn't like just in order to pay the bills, that's when my mind started to shift. And I said, I might be sitting on something really amazing. I might be missing an opportunity to actually give myself freedom and choice by building something while I'm in school. And so what my mom did was seemingly took away my education fund, but gave me an opportunity to develop a skill that would become valuable today. And I did create a full-time income for an average American while still in college. And I did that all from my phone. I did that all from my laptop and some Wi-Fi and the ability to develop people. And so it's been an incredible journey. So that's how I got started. It was very reluctant. And when I started to see that the formula that people taught me about traditional business or traditional way of doing things didn't bring happiness, that's when I said, then what's the point, right? So I'd rather be happy and I'd rather have control over my future. And I promised myself, like, I will recession-proof my mind. I will recession-proof my life. And the only way to do that is to be in control of me. And if I'm employed, I cannot be in control because somebody else controls my income.
That is so good and such a good point, and really incredible for somebody at the time you started and at the age you were at to have that mindset and to expand outside, and coming from being a little bit more reluctant and even to the point of, I'm not doing it and you shouldn't either, yeah. to really seeing a possibility for it. So that's pretty amazing. So when you got started, what were the activities that you were doing that really helped propel you forward?
The activities that are always activities that help me propel me forward is networking, meeting people, meeting new people all the time. So whether that be on Facebook, we didn't have Instagram when I started, but now Instagram. So any kind of social media, going to parties, going to birthdays, going to graduations, it was really about connection with people. And the larger my network became, the more probability I had to have someone be interested in something that I am either selling or they want to partner up with me and do it with me as well. And so even the word selling, getting my mind around being a person that is selling things online, that was really hard for me to grasp. And a lot of people have a diversion to that. But what people don't understand is that we love to buy things, human nature. We love to allocate new things that's going to make our life better. And so one was networking, and two was understanding the power that I brought to the marketplace with what I did and what I offered. So networking, understanding the power, and then making bold requests, which is day to day picking up the phone and asking people when it was the right time. And for a long time, I didn't know when the right time was. And for a long time, I waited too long to make a request, about, hey, is this something that you're interested in? And so I would give a lot of my time away for free and not make a request at the end. And what that did was it did a disservice for the person I was speaking to and for myself. And so networking, expanding my mind, and practicing, closing the deal or enrolling or making a bold request. And that not only helped me in my business, but it taught me how to stand up for myself in my life, with my family relationships, with my friends, with my personal relationships, all kinds of ways. So I am of the belief that how you do one thing is how you do everything. So whatever you do in your business is directly how you live your life in the other domains of your life as well, and your health and your family and all that other stuff.
And that's such a good point. And I want to just go back to the part you said about selling, because we as people, we do like to buy things. I mean, there's a lot of things that I would love to buy, and I'm sure there's many things you like to buy too, right? But two, when we can get to the point where we're growing a network of people who are actually coming to us, it's very different than what the traditional, I guess, perception of selling is, which many people, when they think selling, they think we're going to run around, pound the pavement, knock on doors, and in a sense, hustle people to purchase the products. But that's not really how it works, is it? It's people are coming to you, and you're sharing. So share a little bit about the difference there.
Yeah, so the distinction is that I'm not, I don't believe that I'm just selling a product. I believe that it's so much a part of my lifestyle. And I am enrolling people into that next version in their life. And so when you talk about attraction marketing, it really is about who you are as a person and what that brand is. And your brand is basically what you stand for. And so if people then are aligned with who you are and aligned with your message, then people will come to you. People are silently begging to be led every day, especially now. And so if you have a voice, use it. Use your voice. And so attraction marketing is very different from direct selling in terms of prospecting cold prospects and stuff like that. But the thing is, making connections is still going to be valuable. That we're not making connections just to sell things to people. We're making connections to see if they're the right fit. That's the distinction.
Mm-hmm. And that's a very important distinction, because you don't want just anybody. You want the right people to team up with you so you have a synergy in your team. So that's fantastic. So when we spoke a few weeks ago, you shared something that I found incredibly profound. Because of the community that you come from, you're part of the Cambodian community, and there's a lot of people who are moving this way and struggling with the language barrier. And you shared about being a bridge for your community to introduce them into a better opportunity. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so just a little context on Cambodia. And my parents were refugees from Cambodia after the Khmer Rouge took over in 1976, I believe, or 1975, somewhere around there. So people went from having their own home and having everything just fine. And they were misled into being evacuated and then brought to some places and then concentration camps and all that stuff. Our history has been burned. Lots of things that my parents went through in order to get here. And they won the lottery to come, and they came. And so the Cambodian community in itself, like many refugee communities, have a lot of PTSD and trauma. They also have a language barrier because we just got here. It's not like other immigrants where they've been around for a long time. We're fairly new, and so the education level and everything is lower. But the thing is, the way that we see our business is that it's a vehicle for our community to become healthier, our community to gain knowledge, and our community to grow and develop. We see it as a vehicle. We don't see it as one product. Because when people become healthier, they then have the energy and the capacity to learn more. If you're grumpy and tired, if you're working 8 to 12 hours a day, which I used to before I started this business, you don't have any time and any energy for anything that is for you, for anything that is personally going to develop your life and bring joy into your life, because you're constantly giving your time away to other people. And so, our community came and they started working for, my dad worked for, I think it was $2 an hour when he first moved here. And then it was minimum wage. And both my parents were able to then be creative enough to start small businesses. But the thing about retail brick and mortar businesses is that it's really hard to maintain. You have the brick and mortar that you have to pay for, and you have the employees that you have to watch if they'll steal or not. My mom her business, someone stole from her. And so there's all of this liability. And so a lot of our community got creative, and they own donut shops, they own restaurants, they own all that stuff, because they thought, I don't speak English, so I can't go to school, but my kids will go to school. So they work their bones off, and by the time that their kids are graduating from college, they want to retire, but they're sick. They're susceptible to all of the major diseases because of the stress and all that stuff. And so they barely lived. They went from surviving to more surviving. And what we help people do is go from surviving to thriving. And so that's the main reason why we're so passionate. And the way that we bridge that connection is that we help people learn how to use the computer. We take the extra time to translate things. We take the extra time to make sure that they get it, because it's more than just the product that they're consuming. It's their life. And if we can help them become better and grow, we're going to have a following forever.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and a thriving community at that. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tiff. Before we jump off and before we do a proper farewell, I just want to share with you folks, if you're wondering what it is that we actually do. So basically, what we do is, just like Tiff is saying, we build a network, and then we share a way for people to create an income online. And we do it by guiding people to simple websites like this one, and guiding them through videos. That's the basis of it. And the cool thing about this is, when you go here, we actually have Tiffany's story, her full story, and her mom's story in here to watch. But this is how we share the opportunity. It's nothing super complicated, very easy to do. And we're just guiding people to a website where they watch some videos to learn more and see if this is a fit for them. So we just wanted to share that if you're wondering what it is we actually do, this is what we do. So if this sounds like something that you'd want to take a look at, or take a deeper look at, or even be able to go in and listen to Tiffany's and Neri's story, get in touch with the person who invited you to this event, and they would be happy to guide you through it. So with that, I want to say thank you so much, Tiffany, for coming on and sharing your amazing story. It is incredibly inspirational and one of my absolute favorites. Any final goodbyes you'd like to say before we go?
I want to thank you all for having me here, and I want to thank you for the work that you're doing, because I think it's so important. What you're doing is helping people make things more accessible. You're having them able to access all of the goodness that's available in this business that we're in. So really want to thank you guys for your work. You're doing really important work, and no one else will do it but you. So I'm really grateful. And if you're watching right now, follow me on Facebook and add me as a friend, and I'll see you there.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining us. We will see you guys on our next sneak peek in 2 weeks. Take care, everybody.